Hey guys, welcome back to the Morning Gear podcast. And this is the Morning Gear with Danny, and I'm Danny, your Gen Z educator, here to transform your identity by refining your mentality. And like I earlier stated on my WhatsApp status, I was going to make an unusual episode of the Morning Gear podcast. The Morning Gear podcast. So this is going to be unlike the usual education that we have, but this is going to be from I'm trying to understand it perspective. So I'm going to be explaining to you everything that happened. I stated that there were some questions I was asking myself at some point, and that day was not funny. Let me tell you, that day was not funny. But then we're going to unravel all those things. The questions like, why is growth important? What's the need for growth? What am I even chasing? Why do I even need to keep pushing? Stuff like that. My head was just wandering at that point, and I decided to share. Maybe someone has felt this before. Let's get vulnerable together, right? So, I was there sitting and my mind was just wandering. I woke up early in the morning, like very early that morning. But by the time I left the house, I think it was 10 o'clock a.m. and I woke up as early as 5. And I was late for work. Woke up early, came out late. Why? I was operating my phone. 1 minute scrolling, the next minute late. And also my bag was kind of acting up, though I had to kind of fix the bag that morning before going out for work. And I actually do not like coming out late. So I came out late, saw my boss, he called me. He was like, Devari, why am I late and all this stuff. I know he does not like it. I myself does not like it when I am constantly told about a particular thing. Okay, you come out late, very well. But then I'm trying to improve. Like I said, I was improving, but this day was so different, very, very different. I didn't even know the name of the pain I was feeling. I just knew that I was kind of tired. Not kind of, I was tired. Oh, not the sleep kind of tired, not the burnout kind of tired. Will I call it the kind of tiredness that sits on your chest? Will I call it the soul tired? I was so tired. So I sat down at work and I was just wondering, my thoughts was just going around, what exactly is wrong with me that morning? I had to start reflecting on my whole life. Why am I so unserious? Why do I come to work late? Because I'm supposed not to do that. I'm supposed to be up. I'm supposed to be on time. I do not like coming late. My boss notices. Even to me, my energy looks kind of low and all this stuff. And I felt it. I don't like people talking on the same issue over and over again. But then I'll come to work, though sometimes I do that intentionally. But there are times where I know I'm not doing anything per se, but I'll still come to work late. Then I'll come, I'll feel so uneasy, I'll feel so, when you come to work late or school late or any place late, you have to take a while before you even settle in. That's how it is. And then I was wondering about a whole lot of things. My ISC Square certified in cybersecurity exams, which I should be having by the ending of this month, which is my first attempt, which is free and I cannot afford to fail. But did I read? No, I did not. I had the time. I did not use it. I watched news, I scrolled, I ticked, I wasted hours I could have used. I kept promising myself later, but that later has not come. Do I have the materials? Yes. I have lots of questions I need to go through. I have practice exams I need to take before the final going to the physical exams and everything. But then I've not done that. And my podcast, I record, I edit, I export on Adobe Podcast, reduce, do all those stuff, all the processes. And sometimes I borrow that. The views or the listens are not, though I appreciate the listens, but I want more, right? I want more. And that, it kind of has an effect on me after the shares, after the advertisement, after all those stuff, right? Now, also LinkedIn. Everything I'm talking about is everything I was thinking about that morning. I'm going to explain to you because I was not understanding what the feeling was at that moment. But I'm going to unravel what that feeling was, and maybe you'd also notice that you've actually felt this, maybe to bring it to a sort of realization of what has been happening, right? So LinkedIn was there. I wanted to post consistent because I have not posted for over a week or over 2 weeks, over 3 weeks now. No, not over 3 weeks, over 2 weeks. I've not posted because I think of the idea of waking up at 6, praying, engaging for 30 minutes or to an hour, then posting, engaging again, passing, running to work. As I'm explaining that, it's heavy. So these are kind of what I do when I post on LinkedIn every morning. And these are kind of what actually make me come late, right, to work. It's like I'm doing the second job, and it's just because I want to get visible on LinkedIn. And I don't have enough energy for that routine at the moment. So I stopped. The joke was that I was really tired. I felt messy. I felt behind. I compared. I scrolled through people's win, posting big moments, putting up their achievements, putting up everything, their perfect lives, and looked at my own timeline and thought, why am I not there yet? Divine, why are you not there yet? That comparison crept in like something I did not know was there, right? I can boast that I could not compare. I can literally tell you I do not compare myself to anybody. But that day I had realized that, okay, Divine, this is actually comparison, right? I did not know what to do. I was so helpless. And before I even came to this realization, I did something. I opened my phone and I went to ChatGPT and typed ChatGPT and typed. And I wrote everything. Like I was dumping, everything was in my head. I used the microphone. I did not type. I used the microphone to like speak out my mind. And I spoke. I felt so tired. I woke early this morning, but I wasted time. I'm late. I have exams. I have a podcast. I want to post on LinkedIn. I can't follow through. I'm scrolling. I don't know what to call this feeling. Stuff like that. How do I even fix this? What's actually wrong with me? I'm so unserious. I was just pouring everything. I was just explaining everything there, right? And yeah, that led to a whole level of realization actually to know what was actually wrong with Divine. And then ChatGPT gave a reply. It was not like magic, it was not that perfect, but it did something. The reply put word on what my chest already knew, on what I already knew. It told me things like, this is mental fatigue mixed with avoidance. Mental fatigue mixed with avoidance. You are overstimulated, decision fatigue, and there's this dopamine seeking behavior. It described the loop I was in, scrolling to suit, which only depends deepens the guilt, which leads to more scrolling, right? And then it said something I felt like slapping myself for not realizing earlier. You are comparing yourself, Divine. You are comparing yourself to others. And that was why I was feeling behind. That was why I was having these emotions, this roller coaster of emotions. Because I was comparing subtly, not in a loud way, subtle, quiet. But it's stealing me. It said, and I quote, you are measuring your behind the scenes with other people's highlight reels. You are comparing your process with their results. And that was when I understood everything. That was the hit for me. I remembered sitting and saying, Kai, oh, this is actually what was doing me. This was actually my problem. Because I realized that I was the problem, not the world. Not that I was the problem. Yes, I was, not exactly, but I was trying to control things that are out of my control. I was trying to control the engagements, the like, the listens, the shares, the people who comment, all of those things that I cannot possibly control. And because I focused my worth on those things, I got exhausted. So kind of exhaustment. So I wanted an answer. I wanted how to fix this. Then ChatGPT told me. ChatGPT told me. Focus on what you can control. That's the work. That's the little fortress you build. You control showing up. You control the recording. You control the editing. You control the 1 hour of study. You control 1 post a week and everything. You cannot control a stranger's heart. And it also said something else. Start with one habit, not 5, not a whole morning routine that kills you. Just one, like study 30 minutes after work before you touch your phone. Do that for a week. When your brain treats you like that, then you get to a certain point when you be fully ready, when you've come to a certain level of peace, then you add another habit to it. Make failure harder than success and all those stuff, right? When I read that, I felt lighter, a strange relief, because I suddenly saw that the plan wasn't flashy but was possible. So I was still talking to ChatGPT. I was like, okay, I cannot fail that exam, right? What if I reschedule? He said, if you're not in the headspace for it, please reschedule. Do try it. Protect your bandwidth. And that's sank in. So I had decided to reschedule the exams and everything. And he gave me a routine that, okay, but before that, it got to a point that I was literally crying. I don't know how to explain this, right? I know where I want to go to. I know where I want to be. I know where Divine is supposed to be. I know where I have a dream. I have an ambition. I have a goal. I'm striving to attain that height, right? And this is the Divine of the present. This is the Divine becoming that Divine he is craving for, right? And this whole process of becoming, this whole growth process, this whole underground road, this whole invisible growth process it felt overwhelming to me. And do you know why it felt overwhelming? Because I wasn't, like I said, I wasn't focusing on my growth per se. I was measuring my growth. I was measuring my worth. I was measuring how much I've grown to how people perceived my growth, right? That's why I was always about the likes. I was always about the engagements on my LinkedIn, on my Facebook. I started Facebook posting. I stopped. I started Instagram. I stopped. I started LinkedIn. And when I say I've stopped LinkedIn now, right? No, this was because I was also seeking external validation. It felt so bad. If I remember, it felt so bad. I don't know how to explain, but I really felt so bad that I began to cry. Divine, you are someone who teaches. You are someone who educates. You are someone who is trying to also teach people. And I came to a realization that, okay, look at where you actually are. So you have been subtly doing this thing. In fact, if I post and I do not say any like, I feel bad, but am I supposed to feel bad? No, I'm not. If I make a podcast episode and I post it, am I supposed to feel bad if no one listens? No, I'm not supposed to feel bad. Why am I supposed not to feel bad? Because that is out of my control. I post a podcast is within my control. I try to reach as many people as possible with the info. Okay, I've dropped a new episode. That's within my control. But if anybody listens or they do not listen, that's outside my control. This podcast is sort of a training ground for me to improve my speaking abilities, right? And the fact is that as I constantly continue doing this, either you listen or not, I'm getting better. I'm getting better at speaking. I'm getting better at communication, right? And that's what matters. My worth, my growth is not measured by the engagements. Because if I focus on that, then what am I doing? I could not grow. Because if I removed that as my focus and focused on basically growing, becoming more good on this craft, I will better perform. I would not have not felt that way I felt. So this is what I came to realize. Divine, stop measuring your growth, your worth to external validations, external happenings, to things outside of your control, right? And also there was another comparison thing inside. Subtle, like I said, it was very subtle. Subtle, I don't know which is correct. Subtle, right? I never knew I was comparing. I look at top LinkedIn creators, look at these people that enter LinkedIn 7 months. Me, I'm already there for over, what I call it, a year plus now. And look at where I am, look at them back in 7 months. And all this had been in my head without me realizing that, okay, Divine, you are comparing. I have friends who have gotten awards, who are making impact. And look at you, what have you achieved? But to be told, as an 18-year-old, I have achieved way more than an average 18-year-old Nigerian would. I have achieved way more than that. So, I shouldn't be comparing, but I was, subtly. And when I came to that realization, I cried because, Abba, I hold myself with high esteem that somebody of my caliber, so to speak, should not be caught comparing. But I was. I cried though. Like, I cried. You don't understand. I was literally crying. But then, I thank God for that realization. And It has helped me do a lot of, it has helped me improve. So after then, I decided to come to a conclusion that, okay, I'll stop coming late. What I'll do, okay, I'll wake up early in the morning. I'll not use my phone till after I leave for work. And then after that, I come back. If I have strength to read, I read. If I don't, I sleep. And I will schedule my ISC Square certified in cybersecurity exam for probably next month, right? But I know it feels like what is your take from this? What is your take from all this? Myself, I'm thinking, what do you even take from this? I was looking at myself, and with the whole realization, I had to promise myself that, Divine, we're going to make this decision not to compare. I'm going to make the decision to follow through with your podcast. We're going to make this decision to come back in 5 years' time and measure your growth and compare yourself. But do you know who you're comparing that yourself to? You're comparing that 5 years old, that Divine of 5 years time to come, the next 5 years to come, and the Divine of now. That's who you're comparing to. Because everybody has a different journey. Everyone has a different growth phase. Everyone has a different growth journey, rather. Or will I say? I don't know. Everyone has a different. All things are not equal, right? I was listening to a video today of a woman, and she said that is whenever you wake up, that's when your morning starts, right? Whenever you wake up, that's when your morning starts. You plant a maize and you plant an orange tree. This maize will sprout up in the next 3 to 5 days, produce fruits, and die in the next 3 to 4 months. But this orange will be on that soil for over close to weeks before sprouting, then grow, take 2-3 years to even grow, to even start producing fruits. But then that orange is going to last over 15 years, and it will survive and to keep on producing fruit. That's how growth is. Good things takes time, right? So I don't know if you felt like this before. I don't know if you experienced something of this sort where you come out and you feel so, my mates are there, me, I'm here. Forget about that. The thing I will tell you is that focus on becoming a better version of yourself. Focus on doing something better. Focus on improving every day. Focus on learning something new. Focus on removing that old character, that old habit. Focus on rebranding yourself. Focus on putting your effort in becoming better. I promised myself that in the next 5 years, I'll be more self-aware. Self-awareness is beautiful. I'll be more self-aware. I'll be more mentally strong, so I'll be helping others as well. Not coming from a place of, oh, I know this, but coming from a place of, I've experienced this and I've lived through it, and I know you can't do that. Right? So if I listen to this 5 years from now, I want to remember that loop, that shame, that schooling, that exam panic, that podcast, that grind, that loneliness, that crying, the chats and everything. And then the peace that came after. The promise to myself, the baseline of everything. I woke up the next morning and it was beautiful. I felt different. Jeez. There was this peace Remember, it said that what I decided to do was that, okay, I wake up every morning, I pray, I take my bath, I eat, I go to work. Then that's when I only use my phone. After I step out of the house, then come back if I have strength to read. And I did that for that first day. God, literally, I was so at peace with myself that as I was praying, this song came to my mind and I was going to think, I had promised myself I'm going to bring on the podcast so you hear what I sound like. But it was really touching. If you know the song, please sing along. I don't sing well though. It is well. It is well with my soul. With my soul. It is well. It is well. With my soul. And peace like a river. I turn into my way. I don't know the lyrics. Whatever my Lord has taught me to say, it is well. It is well with my soul. I felt relieved, like I'm being relieved already. God, I wish you understand how I felt that day. I don't know if anybody has felt this, but that feeling was good. What reason? As the Bible says, all things work together for good to them that love God and to them who are called according to his purpose. I know God had the reason for me feeling that way. If I had not felt that way, I would have not realized the shit I was in, right? The comparison loop and everything. But I'm grateful that I was able to even get to that realization. And yeah, so what's your takeaway from this? Please focus on what you can control. You can't control the likes. You can't control who listens. You can't control your boss. You can't control your lecturers. Focus on what you can control. Leave the rest, right? When you focus on what you can control, comparison loses its power. You stop trying to win other people. You stop trying to win other people's scoreboard. You build on scoreboard. You compare yourself to the you of yesterday. And that's the real metric. So my takeaway is that I'll keep going. I'll keep showing up. I'll keep making it harder to fail than to drift. I'll reschedule the exam so I don't burn my free attempt. I'll try to post one honest episode a week. Then I'll engage for 10 minutes a day on LinkedIn. I'll sleep, I'll eat, I'll practice, I'll sing it as well, and when I need to, and I'll come back here and listen to every episode of mine to remind myself that, okay, I did not quit. So this is me, Divine, talking to Divine, and not for the engagement, not for the listeners, not for the applause, but for the quiet work of becoming, for the person who listens to this in 5 years' time and says, you didn't quit. So to me, it's tired right now. Breathe. Small steps, one promise at a time. Focus on what you can control, Divine, and let everything else go. I'll keep going. So, take my word for it. Focus on what you can control. Psychology calls it the locus of control. They have the internal locus of control and have the external locus of control. I was not going to talk about this whole topic, but maybe some other episode I'm going to tell you about the locus of control and everything. For focus on your locus of control, what's within your reach, and you notice a better feel to life. You cannot control people's reactions. You cannot control how they respond to you, but you can control how you respond to them. Right? You can post that video, you can control shooting that video, you can control editing it, you can control advertising it, you can control sharing it, but you cannot control your engagement. You cannot control if you to blow, it to not blow. So just do what you can do and let the rest fall in place. This is me signing out and saying, as always, I just content inspire. Peace.